Hi friends, it's Lauren. Thanks for joining me in my craft room today. It's an oh so inspired collaboration hop day where a few of my crafty friends and I get together and share our take on the same inspiration. If you would like to see what everyone else has created, make sure to use the playlist link down below in my description box because this is a hop and you can easily just play all by clicking on that link. For this month's collaboration hop, we are all being inspired by Lynn at LV Handcrafted. We've all gone over to her Instagram, which I also have linked down below, to pick a creation that Lynn has made to inspire our projects today. The project that I picked features this really cute looking kind of like a blue ribbon style, like an award, and it says you deserve all the best. I love the pattern paper and that she made this kind of ribbon using banner and circles, so I thought I could replicate this using some dies that I have in my stash. The supplies that I'm using today are mostly from Emily Moore Designs, so let's go through what I'm using. I have the Doily shaker frame, and I'm going to use that oval on the inside. The card sentiment dies, I'm going to use the big rectangle and one of the sentiment strips. The decorative sentiment dies, I'm going to use those banners on the left. The horizontal pocket die, I thought I could use this to create two different layers on the base of my card. And then I have the Just Wanted to Say clear stamp set to use for my sentiment. For my pattern paper, I'm going to be using the Spooky 6x8 pad from scrapbook.com. So I've gone through and done all of my die cutting using different pattern and solid pieces of cardstock from the paper pad. I'm going to start by putting my base together. So I've used the large rectangle from the card sentiment dies to cut out that really pretty Halloween kind of symmetrical looking pattern paper. It's my favorite from the collection. And then I used the horizontal pocket die to cut the pocket out of yellow cardstock, but I didn't want it as a pocket. I wanted it as like a rectangle layer for my pattern paper. So I trimmed off the little flaps that turned it into a pocket, and I'm going to figure out where exactly I want it to go on my pattern paper. A lot of it will be covered up with my card, but I didn't want all of the design to be covered up, so I'm just kind of playing around with how far I want this layer to go onto my rectangle. Once I have an idea, I'm grabbing my liquid adhesive and I'm just going to add glue to the back side of this yellow die cut piece, and I'm going to glue that onto the left side of my pattern paper. Once I have that in place, this whole design will want to fit an A2 card, so I'm going to grab my paper trimmer and also trim off the excess that is on the edge of the card that's gone over this 4x5¼ panel. So I'm just using that to line up and trim it off, and there I have what will be pretty much my card front. I'm going to bring in some black cardstock a little later, so that way I'll have a black border around this panel when I glue everything onto my A2 card base. Now to create that same ribbon, I've die cut the sentiment strips, or not the sentiment strips, the decorative sentiment dies, the banner strips. I've die cut them from different pattern papers. So I did kind of that solid orange color, the yellow with the cute little ghosts, and then another pattern paper with fun pumpkins on there that kind of match what's on the pattern paper on my background. Now when I was layering all these together, I did the wrong order. In my head, I wanted the pink pattern paper to be on the left side, so it overlaps with the yellow cardstock, and then the dark orange would overlap on the right. And I just thought that would break up the busyness. You wouldn't lose that pink banner on the right. So I'm going to realize that something doesn't look right here in a little bit. First, I'm figuring out how I want my oval to go. Do I want it to go like more long ways, or if I want it to be more horizontal? And so I'm like, okay, I think I like it. Let me get this glued down. So I'm adding liquid adhesive to my banners. I'm going to add a little bit of really thin foam adhesive. This is 1mm thick from scrapbook.com. I'm just going to place a little bit there so that way my yellow strip is a bit more elevated. Again, getting all my glue on here. I'm going to get the release paper off. I'm about to put it down, and then I'm going to realize, wait, this is not what I wanted. So I decided that I will put the oval going horizontally, and so I trimmed off some of the top of the banners, and then here I'm realizing that I didn't put this in the correct order. So I'm peeling them apart. Luckily I use liquid adhesive. I can still peel them apart, and the top of the banners will be hidden behind my oval, so not a big deal if they look a little, grungy. So then I peel them apart, I'm layering them back together, adding more glue, and then I'm going to use my oval as a guide of where to place these banners. So I decided to kind of go at a little bit of a tilt rather than straight, straight on. That way it just has a little more of a playful feel. So now that those banners are in place, let's add the oval. I'm going to also bring in that same 1mm foam adhesive and add just a kind of a spiral behind my oval. And that way it will have, again, just a little bit of elevation. I don't need a lot, but I just wanted to have some dimension. So this 1mm foam is probably my favorite. I use it often on my cards. I was too lazy to trim it into strips, which is why I'm just going in a big oval or a big spiral behind my oval. So that way there's enough foam adhesive for good stability when I place this onto my card. So I've got the foam on, and I'm going to add the oval so it looks like I've created my ribbon, again inspired by Lynn's really cute card. I'm not going to do a shaker. I'm just going to put a sentiment on the front, and I'm going to fussy cut some of the pumpkins out from the pattern paper to decorate my little ribbon here. But while I'm getting my sentiment, I'm going to die cut my strip out of black cardstock, and I'm going to emboss you're the best or you are the best on the sentiment strip using some clear embossing ink and some white ultra fine embossing powder. So while I'm doing that, I just want to talk about Lynn. I am always so motivated and inspired by her. I love that she has her own products out there. I think that is so cool. I love when my friends succeed, and it's so cool seeing their logos on products. So I just think that Lynn is one of the really most, I don't want to say she is tech savvy, but she is so organized, keeps us all on track. I admire her personality and the way that she is able to plan retreats. I think she's the coolest. I was so excited to meet her in Seattle for Creativation with Trinity Stamps and Pear Blossom Press. I'm just blown away by how much she does for not only the crafty community, but the creators within the crafty community. So for those of us who are putting out projects on YouTube and wanting to plan retreats and all those things, she is the brains behind a lot of the things that you see when I do things with Lynn. It's because she's planned it. I'm so grateful for her, and that she, lifts everyone up around her. She wants to bring everyone with her as she is able to grow her business. She's not leaving anyone behind, which I just really admire. So thank you, Lynn, for always inspiring and motivating me. I hope that you have a great time on this hop to see how everyone is inspired by you as well. So now that my sentiment strip is done, let's get back to the card. I have my A2 card front, so I've glued my little design that I've created onto that card front, so there's a bit of a black border. My sentiment strip, you can see, is actually smaller than the die itself. So before I embossed my sentiment, I trimmed it down by running it through again and shortening the paper under the die, so that way it still has the cute little edges, the half rounded corners, because I just ran it through with my die again, shortening that strip. I fussy cut out those cute little pumpkins and created a little scene on my my ribbon, and then I used a piece of repositionable tape to pick them up so I didn't lose how they were all designed. Forgive my messy hair here. And then I am gluing that onto my oval, and I'm going to slowly peel back the repositionable tape. Now I didn't wait very long because my pumpkins weren't totally, dry yet. The glue wasn't dry. But that's okay. I just popped that little pumpkin right back in place. And then I'm going to use foam adhesive behind my sentiment strip. So again, that same really thin 1mm foam. So now it's probably, 2mm thick now because I've placed this banner, my sentiment strip, on top of the oval, which also is 1mm. But that way you can layer foam adhesive on top of more foam adhesive without it being too thick. I felt like the yellow cardstock looked a little too plain, so I'm going to grab my black shimmer glitter brush from scrapbook.com, and I'm going to just splatter some of that onto my yellow cardstock. I wasn't able to get it to flick out as much as I wanted with the brush itself, so I added a little bit more water and used a paintbrush to splatter that onto the card. I then added adhesive to the back of my card front and I've glued it to my A2 card base, but I wanted to add just a little bit more. I didn't create a shaker, but I thought let's still add some fun sequins to this card. So I'm going to grab some iridescent pink confetti from This Calls for Confetti, and I'm using my Trinity Stamps pickup tool to put the sequins where I want them on the card, and then I pick them back up and add some adhesive so they stay in place. Here's a final look at how my take on Lynn's card is. I hope that you like how she inspired me today. I hope you'll check out everything else, and I hope Lynn loves seeing how everyone is inspired by her today. Let me know how you think I did with my take on her original card down below in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you'll click like, and if you're new here, I hope you'll subscribe and come back. As always, you can find everything I use down below in the description box. Thank you and have a wonderful day. Bye!